What's up, guys? I'm Rico from AchievementHunter.com, and this is God of War Chains of Olympus. God of War Chains of Olympus was originally a PSP game that was later remastered and re-released in HD onto the PS3 via the God of War Origins collection, which contains both the PSP games, God of War Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, and the God of War Saga, which contains all 5 God of War games. Overall, I'd say Chains of Olympus is actually a really solid entry into the franchise. Granted, it's a PSP. It was originally a PSP game, and it's not as big or as grand or probably as good as the main 3 games, but I really enjoyed the time I had with it when I first bought it on the PSP, and I really enjoyed it a lot more when I played it on the PS3. The HD graphics in this game, I think, look even better than on the God of War collection, which contained God of War 1 and 2 in HD. Considering those games were actually made for a console back then and this game was made for the PSP, it's kind of surprising how well they've been able to remaster the graphics compared to those 2 main games. The gameplay in this game, if you've played one God of War game, you've played them all. They pretty much play the same. I'd say the only noticeable difference in this game versus the other games is that they don't have as many weapons in this game or magic abilities, which you kind of have to understand that this was originally a PSP game, so they really couldn't do as much as they did back in the main games. So I can let that slide. I still had a fun time with it, regardless of the fact that I didn't have much to do except swing my blades around with one other weapon. The story, it was kind of just there. I mean, it's a good story, don't get me wrong, but it kind of has these confusing points, and it kind of tries to humanize characters that can't really be humanized. The story basically follows Kratos before the events of God of War 1, when he was still under the service of the gods. He has to go help the gods find Helios because Persephone has this big plot that involves him somehow to take over the world. And overall, it's a really convoluted plot that it's got its moments, but it was just kind of there for me. Although for a God of War game, you never really come to the God of War games for a good story anyway. You basically come for the great fun and addicting gameplay and the nice graphics, which are an added bonus to an already nice game. Now, why don't we look at some of the trophies on this list, when this game was ported over to the PS3, luckily they gave it trophy support, which would have been dumb if they didn't. So, the only collectible trophies I have here are Eye for an Eye for a silver trophy, which is to collect all the Gorgon eyes, and for the birds for a silver trophy, which is to collect all the phoenix feathers. If you've played the God of War games, you know what the Gorgon eyes and phoenix feathers do. Gorgon eyes upgrade your health, phoenix feathers upgrade your magic. You know what those do. The difficulty-based trophies are actually not that difficult. First one is Piece of Cake for a gold trophy, which is to beat the challenge of the gods. Next one is It's Overall Ready for a gold trophy, which is just to beat the game, pretty easy. And finally is Getting Your Money's Worth for a gold trophy, beat the game on hard mode. Hard mode is available from the start, and for this game, I would, if you don't really care about doing multiple playthroughs, you probably should do it on hard, because this game's hard difficulty isn't that hard compared to the main game's hard difficulty. So it's pretty easy to get those 2 trophies, which are just beating the game. And the last 2 trophies I have on this list are Hit Me Baby for a silver trophy, which is to execute a 200 hit combo, and Heavy Hitter for a gold trophy, which is to execute a 1000 hit combo. There's actually a spot really early on in the game where you can get those 2 trophies pretty easily, so those aren't really too difficult. But yeah, that's pretty much God of War Chains of Olympus. It's a solid entry into the franchise. Not the best God of War game, but it's still a pretty fun game that you should definitely try out if you're interested in playing the God of War games. Although I will still stand by the fact that God of War 2 is my favorite video game of all time. Nothing will top it. But that's pretty much it. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to check out AchievementHunter.com for more. See ya!